Is your Fiesta ST losing boost? Do you have a leak from the sound Symposer? I did, and this is how I fixed it. A recent rolling road day, I'll put a link up in the corner of the video to that day. I was a bit down on power. Turns out I was leaking a bit of boost. The hose clamps on all of the intake were a little bit loose, so I pinched them up. But I realised that my Symposer had also stopped making noise. So I ordered one of these, suspecting that it may have been at fault and leaking a bit of boost. This is the Mountune Symposer Delete Kit. It's a bit different to what other people offer in that they tend to offer just a blanking plug. But with the Mountune, as you can see here, there's a couple of holes at the top which give you two options. Now the first option is you can screw these two things in, which give you takeoff for vacuum pipes from which you could run a boost gauge if you felt the need to. Now I've never seen the point of that because the turbo on these engines is so tiny and it boosts up so quickly. Pretty much whenever you give it full throttle you've got full boost. I like to know how much boost I've got, but I do that by logging using a data logging app on my phone. So there's no need to have a boost takeoff on these. I'm going to use these two blanking plugs which screw in to the two holes at the top of the plug there. Now because you're trying to contain boost up to 1.5 bar, you need to make sure these are airtight when they're screwed in. So it's advisable to wrap them in a Teflon PTFE tape which you use for plumbing and things like that. So here I am just winding some of this tape around the threads before plugging them in to the boost plug itself. Right, so that's both of the plugs wrapped in PTFE tape and inserted, and it's now ready for fitting. The fitting itself is pretty straightforward, doesn't take long, only took me about 10 minutes. First thing you need to do, remove the engine cover so you've got some access. Now, it's a little bit tight, right down the front of the engine bay there. First thing, take the noise pipe, the one that goes back to the cabin, puts the sound into the passenger footwell. It just is a friction fit on the front there. Pull it off and just tuck it back as far as it'll go, which is what I've just done. So I'm just having a look at the sound Symposer there. If you have standard induction pipe work, you'll need a long pair of pliers or a long reach hose clamp removal tool, but because I've got the Mountune MR230 kit, I've got Mountune silicone pipes here which feed the Symposer. So I've got Jubilee clips and I need a 7mm ratchet spanner which has got an adjustable head, makes it just that little bit easier to get access. And with that I can get the clamp undone around the top of the pipe and loosen it off so that I can remove the Symposer body. Now the Symposer body itself isn't attached to the engine with any screws or anything, it's just a rubber grommet which I just pulled out there, and then it's a little bit awkward. You have to push a few pipes out of the way and then you can get the Symposer out. So here it is. It's actually a really simple thing. I've taken it apart to see how it works. A diaphragm in one side which is closed off resonates from the intake, and it makes a similar thing on the other side, also vibrate, and then that generates the sound which goes back down the pipe. So out with that, and then inserting the new plug. Now just to make that a little bit easier, just want to lubricate it, otherwise you might have a bit of a job inserting it into the pipe. So I'm just using some silicone spray on paper towel, just a tiny amount, and just give the plug a wipe around the top. And then also you can see the yellow hose there, which is the inside of the Mountune pipe. Just giving that a quick wipe as well. So both things have a really thin film of silicone oil on, which means when I come to put this in now, it still takes a little bit of persuasion, but it's an awful lot easier having just given it a quick wipe with the silicone spray. Now it's just simply a case of pulling the clamp, the Jubilee clamp or clip, back up around the top of the hose onto the body of the plug where it's inserted into the hose, and tightening it back up again. So that's it done. Plugs inserted, Jubilee clip done up. I should now have no leaks from that area of the intake. So having done that, before I put anything back together, I just want to make sure the engine fires up okay. I get no warning lights. All is good. So that's it. I can now stick the engine cover back on, and that's job done. Now before I took the Symposer off, I did go out for a run, found a quiet stretch of disused airfield, stuck it in third gear, and over again logged a good run through at full boost, full throttle, to capture some data and just see how the engine was performing. And then afterwards I went back to exactly the same place, and as you can see here, did exactly the same again. Now it doesn't look like there's that much difference, but there actually was. It felt a bit sharper, felt like it boosted up a bit quicker, felt a bit keener. although it doesn't really look like it when you look at the dials and gauges here and my data overlays. But I then took the data that my data logger had captured, I threw it into Excel, played around with it a bit, and I created this graph. Now all of the red lines are the boost in third gear in this rev range before I fitted the plug. So the red lines were with the Symposer fitted, and then I fitted the plug and did the same again and data logged that, and the green lines are after. And as you can see, I most definitely gained some boost from this process. So the Symposer, I've heard people say that it is a bit of a weak link in the intake system and it can fail. I didn't really think mine had failed, certainly didn't feel like there was any noticeable drop off in performance, but this data doesn't lie. I was leaking boost from my sound Symposer. I hope you found this video useful. I quite enjoy making these, so if you did, please give it a like, thumbs up, and subscribe and share with anyone else that you think would also find it useful. And let me know any comments below and any suggestions at all as to anything else you might like me to have a go at. Thanks for watching.